Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Sean Brodrick, senior editor at WeissRatings.com. Welcome back to the show, Sean.
Thanks for having me on.
Sean, is uranium still doing well?
Well, uranium had a great week. It really did. And then on Tuesday, uranium stocks seemed to top out. Now, the price of the metal hasn't moved anywhere, so I was really watching the action in stocks. And for some reason, money started to rotate into them. Now it seems to be over for a bit, but the trend's really starting to improve in uranium stocks. I know that we've all started to look askance at those because uranium is the metal that always promises, never delivers, but the stocks are really starting to look better.
Are we seeing more atomic power plants open?
Yeah, well, there's been word of extensions. I think Spain was the one that most recently extended how long its nuclear power plants could stay open. And there's more being built in China and Asia especially, but also places like the Middle East. I mean, that's one of the solutions that the Saudis have is nuclear power. That's one thing they want to do. So, I think, we've all heard about a supply-demand squeeze. It's supposed to start eventually. The longer it is delayed, the worse it's going to be. The movement we saw in uranium stocks over the past 5 days was just a big move higher. And, even though that just topped out on Tuesday, it's probably a short-term top. The trend is definitely higher now.
Cannabis stocks, are they looking hot with New York deciding to legalize?
Yes. I just put my subscribers back into some more positions. We sold nearly everything in Marijuana Millionaire portfolio. We were down to, I think, 2 cannabis stocks and some others that are related tangentially. But we just added some more of the same ones we took 200% gains on, added them back in because things are picking up. Certainly the news out of Canada is quite good. News out of Canada. I'm talking to you in Canada, so that's why I say it. But the news out of New York, which is that Andrew Cuomo, who is the governor there and would probably like distractions from other things going on in his political life, said that he and the leader of the New York State Assembly spent the weekend talking about legalizing recreational marijuana. And he said they are very close to reaching an agreement. New York is a huge state. If they legalize marijuana, lots of companies will do very well, especially those companies that have a foothold there. The funny thing is, Canadian cannabis stocks are the ones that went up the highest on that news, even though there's no way in heck any of the Canadian cannabis stocks can actually play in New York. So what's going on? I think it's because Canadian cannabis stocks are the easiest ones to buy on the major U.S. exchanges. You have Afria, you have Canopy Growth, you have Tilray, you have a whole bunch of them there. And they trade on the major U.S. exchanges. U.S. cannabis stocks can't because cannabis is not legal on the federal level in the U.S. That's why they're kicked down to the OTC. So I think it's easier to buy those big Canadian cannabis stocks, but I think once people get their heads on straight, they'll realize that it's the U.S. producers, which are on the OTC, that really stand to make the biggest money. We also have good news from Mexico, by the way. They're advancing their legalization. It went through their lower house of Congress, and so that's moving along. Of course, it's Mexico, which gives the U.S. a run for its money and having to screw up government sometimes. So we'll see when they actually get it done. But things are looking very good with that. And then we got the news from Zuho Financial Group, which surveyed households with incomes below $150,000. And the question was, what are you going to do with your stimulus check? Because there is $380 billion worth of stimulus checks going out, right? So the Zuho Financial want to find out, what are you going to do with it? And 40% of people who responded to the survey said they plan to invest the money. Now, they could invest it in Bitcoin, they could invest it in stocks, they could invest in real estate, but Zuho figures out this could be a $40 billion boost. And so if a big portion of that money goes into stocks, then the stocks that run up when money floods into the market will do well. I think people are anticipating that. Cannabis stocks are in the group of stocks that move up when money moves into the market.
We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after this.
Aben Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Aben's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at abenresources.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sean Brodrick. Sean, what's happening on the gold scene?
Well, if your subscribers call up the chart of, say, GDXJ, they will see that it has been in a downtrend since August, which is no fun. That's the Van Eck Vectors Junior Gold Miners ETF. But they'll also see that starting on March 9th, the GDXJ and pretty much every major gold ETF and index started moving higher. So it has bounced off the bottom of that downtrend and is probably going up to the upper part of this big down channel. So there's some real room to move there. And so that's why we saw Newmont go up over 4% on Monday. And we're probably going to see more of that. I'm not sure which exact names people want to use to play this. I had an idea which I sent my subscribers, and certainly the ETFs are a way to go. But definitely things are looking up for the gold miners. Now, they'll still be in a downtrend. The downtrend has to break. But, there are many, many reasons why we're probably going to see higher gold prices. Things that will hopefully push gold and the gold miners out of their downtrend. And this includes the fact that that consumer buying was suppressed all of last year. Now that's going to come back once things start to switch back on. Then we have the supply-demand squeeze, which has been building up in gold for a long time. It's only going to get worse. And then you have things like the stimulus money. People are probably going to buy shiny things. That's just an example. So there's a whole bunch of things that stand to push gold higher, gold miners higher. Now is not a bad time to get in them, I don't think.
We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after this.
Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlin, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sean Brodrick. Sean, do you see any action in the biotech area?
Well, they had some, and in fact, some of the big pharmacies look good now for a change. It is funny how the pharmaceutical stocks didn't really capitalize on the rollout of the vaccine. They did go up some, and they went down. So a lot of people got left holding the bag on that. I don't really know what's going to happen there next. I don't have people in any positions, but again, that's a sector we saw bounce in early March. We had that sell-off that began in like February, where a lot of the market got sold off. And then in early March, they started to head higher again. So, not a bad way to play the bounce if you want to play it, if you have some favorites. The thing is, biotech stocks can blow up in your face so easily. The easiest way to play it is, of course, the iShares NASDAQ Biotechnology ETF, or at least in the U.S., that's the easiest way to play it, is just buy the ETF. You'll at least get some of that write-up. But, you just have to be careful.
The shine came off the so-called FANGs. Any chance it'll come back?
Oh, well, the shine was back on Tuesday. I don't know if you saw that, but the FANG stocks were the ones leading the markets higher. I mean, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, they were all up. In fact, that's when it was really kind of a big tentpole market in that there was a lot of things that weren't doing well, but some big names were really holding up the market on Tuesday. So again, this is, we saw these names pretty much sell off hard, and so now they're starting to bounce, and people know that, that's something that institutions buy. And if there's going to be a lot more money sloshing around, and it seems like it, that's one of the things that could do well.
Energy stocks, are they picking up?
I'm in some energy names, and I'm kind of wishing I'd taken gains because it's been a horrible week so far. But, I think that at current oil prices, there are plenty of energy stocks that can make a lot of money. They can do very, very well. And so the thing that's kind of hurting them now is we aren't seeing oil prices continue to go up. But all they have to do is stay around at current levels, and you're going to see these companies ring the cash register. So I don't think now's the time to exit oil. And if they sell off for another week, I'm probably going to be buying again.
And, of course, it's time for the annual oil refinery fire / explosion.
Well, we already had catastrophe down in Texas, because all the pipes going into the refineries froze. And in fact, that's still weighing on the U.S. gasoline output. And that's one reason that our prices are going higher. But one thing I've learned is never complain about U.S. gasoline prices to a Canadian. So, so we've already had our disaster down here. Sure, we could see some fires and stuff, which happens, as you say, every year when they do the changeovers and the normally scheduled shutdowns, which just tend to be dangerous for this, So we'll see how it goes. But I actually like refiners here. And if there's a pullback, they'll be looking even better.
Yeah, here in Vancouver, we're paying $5.77 a gallon, U.S. gallon.
Yeah.
How would that compare to Florida?
We're a little over $3, but so like I said, we have nothing to complain about down here.
Anything going on with alternative energy?
There's been a real sell-off in that industry, but I'm starting to look at some reentries into positions. We took lots of gains, especially in solar, but they pulled back so much that they're starting to look attractive again, especially if we get the infrastructure bill that President Biden has been talking about. A lot of it's going to be on green infrastructure, and so I think that there's some real potential in that area. It could be quite bullish. We are still having a pullback now. No one has to jump at anything. But you should probably be making your shopping list, I think.
Palladium, is that a forgotten precious metal?
Some people call it that, and in fact, I might have called that in the column I wrote on Tuesday. But, here's the thing, is that car sales were suppressed all last year, not only in North America, around the world. So now they're coming back hard, shifting into higher gear, and you really can't roll those cars out without palladium and in some cases platinum when you're doing like diesel engines, which are still a thing. And so on Tuesday we saw the price of palladium jump up to the high end of its range. The range has been in since like November, I think. I don't have a chart in front of me. But, so it could break out, because that's where breakouts come, is at the top of a range, right? And man, it's a real supply-demand squeeze, because not only are car sales going up, China is changing its laws requiring better pollution controls in the cars that are sold there. They want good quality catalytic converters. And that's going to mean, according to people who actually study these things, about 30% more palladium per vehicle. You know, so that alone is enough to light a fire under demand. So I think people should definitely be looking at palladium now.
And, of course, with the high price of platinum and palladium, catalytic converter theft is rampant across Canada and the U.S. An interesting story you told me before we went to air.
Yes. Well, last year, a man in Kansas City, Missouri, went to steal the catalytic converter from a Prius, and the car fell on him and crushed him. And, you know, I don't think thievery should be punishable by death. I know many people will feel otherwise, but that is just a terrible story, but it shows that the lengths people are willing to go to. Because, yeah, now you're going around with some money under your car that thieves think they could actually do pretty well by stealing. So definitely keep an eye on your car. Maybe add a camera outside to focus on your car and let you know if any thieves come around there.
Sean, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thanks. That was great fun.
My guest has been Sean Brodrick, Senior Editor at WeissRatings.com. If you have any questions for Sean, you can send them to info@HowStreet.com. And for all the HowStreet.com listeners, we have a special treat. Friday, March 19th, I'll be hosting a webinar with Rick Ackerman, editor of the newsletter Rick's Picks. And Rick has a particular point of view that a lot of people don't think is going to happen. So many economists are predicting that we're going to be facing hyperinflation. Rick, you have a different point of view. Why do you think deflation is going to be the big problem we face in the future?
Well, first, thanks for helping me to put this together, Jim. I do think that the end game will feature deflation. We've got such an acute mania going on in all investables right now that even the bulls must be forced to see that it's not going to end well. So as far as I'm concerned, the bad ending is going to be deflation rather than inflation. And although that sounds counterintuitive because of all the credit stimulus that's going on, I think in the end it's debtors that are going to get stuck, not lenders. And that implies in deflation, it implies a strong dollar, a crushing burden of real debt. It implies that we're never really going to get out of our mortgages by being able to pay our lenders in $100,000 bill snide. So that's where I think things are going, and I'm in a very small minority with that scenario.
And Rick, what's the website they should go to?
Yeah, that's rickackerman.com. If you go to rickspicks.com, you're going to find a New York-based pickle and relish vendor. So rickackerman.com is where you want to go. You can sign up for 2 free weeks of everything I offer, including a couple of great trading rooms for just $1. So that's just click Start Trial at the top of the page, rickackerman.com.
So join us Friday, March 19th for a webinar with Rick Ackerman about deflation. It starts at 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. You're listening to HowStreet.com Radio. Our YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter at HowStreet. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com Radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com Radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.